What's up, friends and family? Welcome back to Sucker for Side Quests. I'm Will Rockmore, and I've lived in this Toyota Prius V since 2020, overlanding all over North America.
Sucker for Side Quests.
I have a GoPro, but I don't know how to use it. I'm super excited for this video because I've had numerous people over the years ask me to make one touring my vehicle, and I've finally done it, and that's what I have for you here today. Stick around until the end of this video and I'll give you 3 absolutely game-changing hacks and tips to make your small vehicle dwelling experience much more comfortable and safe, and even save you a boatload of money. I learned this stuff on my journey through lots of trial and error, and I'm going to share all of it with you at the end of this video. Full disclosure, in a space this small, it's very challenging to keep things clean. In the spirit of authenticity, I decided to keep things as they usually are, so that you can see how I actually live versus what some influencers will lead you to believe the lifestyle is like. Things get dirty, banged up, and old. Just like us. Hit that like button for me, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you can unlock more side quests. And without further ado, let's get to this tour. Today I'm going to be taking you on a full tour. I've been very excited for this video. Let's check this out, shall we? So this is the front passenger area. As you can see, I've removed the seat. This is where I keep my water. It's also where I keep my folding bike, my guitar, my mattress when I'm not using it, my pee jug, and a pair of binoculars, and my jump starter. I like to have, and my vacuum, which obviously I need to use. As you can see, there's my e-bike battery. This is pretty straightforward. My bike folds up and fits in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show a tour of the car when everything is in park mode, when I'm planning on staying somewhere for a few days, which I typically prefer to do. And then I'll pack everything up and show you what it looks like in drive, aka urban camp mode, which is pretty much the same thing. Forgive my fridge. The cover is a little dirty right now because I spilled coffee on it. I just cleaned it too. It has seen better days. But this is my fridge. It is the Iceco Go 20. Huge fan. I've had it for about 4 years. It's plugged into a Jackery 1000 watt solar battery bank. That is right back here. This is my platform that my brother and I built. This is my little cubby where I keep my bedding, my sheets. I've got a few other things down here. I've got a blender. Here, I'll just pull it out and show you. I've got some sunscreen, my pillow, sheets, my blender's down in there. I usually keep my speaker, my Bluetooth speaker fits right in here. Nice little spot for it. This is my power station, one of many, but this is AC power. This is where I have my AC running from the battery bank, and then it connects to this USB hub right here that's got all of my electronics. I've got it kind of tidily wound up, so anytime I need to charge something like my GoPro battery, it's all right here. I also have a longer cable that connects up to my fan right there. And then this up here is my kind of ceiling storage. It's paracord ran across the all 4 oh shit handles. Of course, I'm not really sure what you would call oh shit handles in a Prius, because I don't think you can really make a Prius go oh shit, can you? What would you call them? Granny assist handles? Prius jokes and granny jokes aside, the paracord is where I can hang this little net here where I keep my toiletries, a few ball caps, I stash all of my window inserts up here, including the reflectics that I use to reflect the light. And then I've made these custom fit window inserts. They're super insulated. They've got corrugated vinyl in them and 2 layers of reflectics. And then I hand sewed these together. These are actually what have taken more work in this vehicle than anything else. And it's honestly not even close. They were absolutely atrocious to make, but they're an absolute game changer. So highly recommend. Probably do another video tutorial on how to do those. I was gonna kind of go like through this side first and then go back around to the other side. This is where I keep my solar battery bank. This extension cord goes all the way back, and that runs, basically powers my kitchen when I'm in park mode. Say if I'm staying on public land or whatever, and I would like to have my kitchen outside, which I prefer because it just saves a ton of space and makes it a lot more convenient. As you can see, I got a bunch of stickers here that I'm working on with my collection. It's right now plugged into the solar panel that I usually keep on the roof. It's an EcoFlow 220 watt. Absolutely love this panel. Everything in this that I can think of, I'm going to put links to so that you can find them and purchase them if you so choose. These are a game changer also. I just used a hole saw, cut a hole through here and installed these AC Infinity fans, 1 exhaust, 1 intake, so that it keeps it cooler down here, because this battery can get pretty hot, and the intake fan for the cooler for the hybrid battery is down here, and you don't want that to overheat. So I try to keep that clear. I try to keep this mostly free of too much junk so that it doesn't get too hot, and it's served me pretty well. I haven't, with these fans down here, I haven't had much issue with overheating at all, even in the summer, but I do typically try to stay as far away from raging hot heat as possible. Over here, you can see I have half of my lights set up. I actually had these same LED lights set up on the other side. I've tried multiple LED light configurations, including even trying to wire them up around the top with the strip lights and stuff like that. These work better than anything I found. I've, tried to keep the cable management nice and tidy so that it's not an eyesore to look at. This is actually a thermostat that's plugged into here that I can turn on. This actually controls my inverter, which is installed in the basement. The way that we configured this is memory foam. It's all upholstered. I've got this outer layer is waterproof fabric. We've stapled it down here. I say we because it was my friend and I on a late night project, just having fun when this whole thing got kicked off. But it's got memory foam, and I'll put some pictures of the project that we did. It was years ago, but it's still held up really nicely. It's super comfortable to lay on and sit on even without any mattress on top of it. This is where my Instant Pot goes. And again, I'll show how this all packs in when I'm in drive mode. So this thermostat is actually plugged into a heater that is, so you can see the cord comes down from the thermostat here and runs down here. And the heater is right here. I have it on the floor. It's just a little desktop heater. It runs at probably 150 watts on low, but you can put it on high also, and it runs at about 250 watts. And that's all I've needed in sub-zero temperatures. With sometimes like a fairly warm sleeping bag, like 40, 50 degree sleeping bag, nothing too uncomfortable. And with the window inserts, I've had no issues. The only thing you really have to run into is condensation. So I try to keep the fan on and at least the window's somewhat cracked. And I've slept like a baby in as low as -8 without turning the heater on in the main car. The reason for that is this little heater will burn a lot less fuel than even the climate control, which is still better than most conventional vehicles, but I still like to save as much money as I can and as much fuel as I can. So I prefer that little heater, and I've loved that setup. I've had that for a number of years now, and it's served me really well. But let's come around here. This is how I hang out with the outdoor kitchen. See, I've got my Instant Pot, I've got my air fryer, my frying pan, got my solar oven, my microwave. Those totes are full of dried foods, spices, sauces, things like that that don't need to be refrigerated. That's my electronics box. This one, seen better days, needs to get a new lid. This is kitchen utilities. And then this goes in the basement. This is all my tools and everything that I'll show you the basement now. But before we do that, this is my wardrobe. This is where I keep all of my clothes and my shoes, and it's pretty much organized the way I've got shirts, layers, but everything has to kind of move around sometimes, like when some clothes get dirty and things like that. So, but that is how I've got that sectioned out, and I used a hat organizer that you hang in your closet that just fits perfectly in here. I got it from another video on YouTube, and this build is pretty much identical to what that guy had on his, and I love it. This locks, which is nice. This cargo rack has extra space. This is where I keep my solar oven, and then I've got that bug screen on there that's really nice. It fits around, and that allows for a bunch of airflow. This is the basement. So I'll swing this over here. This little guy zips straight out, and it's pretty easy to get into even through this door. But so it's kind of a mess right now because I just pulled a bunch of stuff out, but I usually have it a lot more tidy to keep all the stuff in there. That big blue thing down there, hopefully you can see that, that's the inverter. It's wired up to the 12-volt battery, which is back under that piece of plastic. Should be able to see that. So basically what that does for me is it charges my solar battery bank when I don't have enough sun. I have a charger that's run from the inverter to the battery bank, and that switch on the wall that I showed you a minute ago will turn the inverter on. I've also got more AC power right here if I need it. And that will run straight off the inverter. You have to have the car in ready mode to run the inverter, otherwise you'll run your 12-volt battery dead and you won't be able to start the car. Ready mode in a Prius is essentially the car's on, it's ready to drive, but it doesn't necessarily have the gas engine running. It may just be running on the electric battery until the electric battery drains, the gas engine kicks on to charge it back up. So that inverter has been the difference between having pretty much unlimited power and burning only as much fuel as you absolutely need and running out of power when you don't have enough sun. That's why that inverter is huge. But that basement is also where I keep my little workout push-up bars. I've got a hammock down there. I keep stuff that I don't necessarily need as often. That red and black bag has a power drill in it. It has tire inflator. So I just have like tools and stuff in that other box. That box down there under the microwave. And everything fits right down under there. So, but this tarp up here is called a Slumberjack. And this thing is so awesome. I absolutely love it because look at all the space it gives me. I set it up by myself in maybe 5-10 minutes. It's really easy. Here's my bike. It folds up and sits in the front. My solar oven. I'm gonna do all kinds of cooking videos with that. I've already got a couple on the way. And these gas cans I never use. I'm gonna actually get rid of these. The gas mileage on this thing has been good enough. I actually thought originally I was gonna want to use them on those times that I'm overlanding and don't want to leave and may need a little bit more fuel to keep the climate control going or whatever, but I've just never needed them. between the solar and the efficiency of the hybrid system, I can't see any reason. And honestly, they add quite a bit of weight to the back and they reduce the stealth. They make it look more like an overlanding vehicle, which I'm not really for. These are GoTreads. Amazing. Cannot recommend them enough. These have bailed me out multiple times in snow and mud and really terrible road conditions. And, you know, let's face it, Priuses aren't known for their off-roading abilities. They are a lot better when you have a lift kit. I have a 1.5-inch lift kit that I got from Prius Off-Road on this thing. Shout out to them, super cool guy. Really have been happy with that. I also got the airbags installed in the back, but one of them burst, so I'm not able to use that right now. But I'm just using these GoTreads right now as a level. It's kept my vehicle flat so that when I'm sleeping in the back, it's a lot more comfortable, and obvious reasons there. So this is my office. I decided not to get rid of this back seat because I knew I was going to be working. I worked remote for a corporation for a long time, and I also got my master's degree while living in this car. This has been my desk. I have this nice little fold out desk that it just hooks onto the back of the headrest here and folds down. Here, I'll show you how this works. So there's a couple little knobs on the back here. You just loosen these and this thing folds straight up and just hangs out. Sorry for getting so close there. Hangs out on the back here. Then you just tighten them up. And this slides out for a little mouse pad or a little extra desk. I use this thing for cooking, or not cooking, excuse me. I use it for prepping food. I use it for eating. I definitely eat off of it. It's just awesome. I think it was like $30 on Amazon, and I use it all the time. So this is my office. This chair is very comfortable. In the Prius V, these things slide back and forth and they recline. Reclines all the way back like that, so it's super comfortable. Very happy with this car, very happy with the layout. And again, it's been 4 years of living in this thing and I see no sign of wanting to be done. Now, a couple of complaints about this particular vehicle. If I had to change anything on it, it would be not to have this moonroof. Why? I still, like, please tell me in the comments the point of a moonroof. I don't understand it. I never have. See, it's glass up here. This is tinted. So what are you trying to do? You can't stargaze out of it because you can't see through tinted glass, and it shades the sun during the day, but like maybe you can let some sun in. While you're sitting still, I don't understand, but please let me know. I mean, it has to have a purpose that I'm just not understanding and never have, because it's electric. There's two windows that slide open. I've just stuffed them with insulation because I don't see any other reason to have it. But that should do it for park mode. Let's get everything packed up and we'll show you drive mode. All right, so I've packed everything up and now I'm going to show you drive mode. About the only thing that I didn't do here is pack these up because I am going to spend the night here. But those just go in the basement where I showed you that extra space. But I'll kind of walk around, show you how it looks in drive and sleep mode. This stuff can either move up here on the microwave. Actually, usually what I'll do is I'll just set it in the front seat, because if I'm going to be sleeping, I'm not going to need the front seat. So I'll just set this stuff up here, my work stuff. That's about all this that really needs to be moved out of the way. It's kind of amazing how everything goes into its spot. A little bit of a snag here. Excuse me, the sniffles. It's still chilly out here just because of that wind. The sun's nice, but I've still got a couple of hacks coming. So stay tuned for that. As soon as I get through the rest of this tour here, I got some really good stuff coming your way. But this is what the bed looks like. I'm a pretty easy sleeper, so I don't really need a lot of cushion. But like I was mentioning earlier, this is memory foam. This is really comfortable to lay on. The upholstery job did a pretty decent job there. But I also have the Thermarest foam backpacking pad that I laid down there because it adds a layer of insulation. Also, it's a layer of comfort. I put my inflatable X-Ped pillow at the end there, my super fancy warm blanket, and everything is packed away. So this is pretty much what it looks like, how I store everything, my microwave. And now this is slightly different than drive mode. I usually have my bed packed up. This is more like urban stealth camping mode. The only difference between this and drive mode is I'll pack my bed up and then I'll take this stuff and evenly distribute it closer to the front and on this side of the vehicle for better handling and better distribution of weight. But back here, I have my coffee set up. I have my air fryer, my Frisbee, and my carbon monoxide detector. That's where I keep the Instant Pot right back here. And so everything packs in really nicely. I'll show you. This is where my solar panel goes. I pulled that down just to show you how that goes. So really the way that I'm packed right now, I could grab those GoTreads and be out of here in a hurry. This is how my bike folds up and sits in the front here. And I ride this thing all the time. I love it. It's electric XP Lite. It weighs 45 pounds, I believe, stock. I've added a cargo rack, which has been nice because we've used it as a seat for a passenger, which I could probably upgrade because I think their bum hurt. Actually, I know it did. I love this setup. I love my home. I love the way that it all goes. The back here isn't quite bungeed down. Obviously, I have my bottle of Malort. If you haven't tried that yet, don't. I think I'm the only person in the world that likes it. We keep things real on Sucker for Side Quests. Now, what I do here is I bungee this solar oven stuff down. Whenever I am stealth camping, I bring it all in, and I can set it either in the front seat or in the side seat, wherever there's space left after I'm in bed. And that gives me the ability to keep it safe in case I am in the city. But now for some hacks, as promised, some tips, things that I really recommend doing if you're Prius dwelling. Number one, get you one of these. This is a steering wheel lock by a company called Tevlaphee. It basically hooks right through the steering wheel here. And the reason why this is important is because this car, it clips into your seatbelt here, and then when if someone were to try and break in and steal your car, they wouldn't be able to do it without some sort of saw and cutting through this. Now, the reason why that's really valuable is because when your inverter is on and you need to go use the restroom or whatever, and you don't want to turn everything off because you either needed to charge your solar bank, you're going to hit a trailhead, whatever the case may be. While I don't recommend doing it for very long periods of time, like overnight or anything like that, Sometimes you want to just leave your inverter on and keep your solar bank charging, or you need to keep the climate control on for AC, say if you have a dog or something. You can slide this key out of the bottom of your key fob, and there's a little button on the side that you press. It says push. You press that button and this slides right out. Now what you can do, you can leave the car in ready mode, keep the AC on, and then lock it, and the door's locked in ready mode. And so that's the only way to my knowledge that you can lock the doors while the car's on, keeping everything on. But the thing is if you go walking by and the car kicks on and you can hear the engine, then somebody's looking, they're like, hey, there's nobody in here. And they might want to break in and steal your car, which would be really easy to do. If the car's in ready mode, it'll still drive if the keys aren't in there. But that steering wheel lock is added peace of mind to keep that from happening. So highly recommend getting one of those. Hack number 2. This one has bailed me out so many times because I'm a little forgetful and I misplace my stuff sometimes. So I got myself a little real estate box. And this little real estate box clips onto my cargo rack. I'm sure you could find somewhere on the undercarriage as well. This is basically my safe. Now I've seen other YouTube channels where people are installing safes on the floor of their car and stuff like that. And I went down that rabbit hole for a little while, but I didn't end up finding anything that really worked for, you know, what I really needed it for. I don't personally, I'll get into this in another video, but I don't pack a firearm because I think that it's more risk than it is really worth the protection. And I have other options for self-defense that, again, I'll cover in other videos. But this works great, and nobody can break into this thing. Unless they somehow crack the code, they're not getting in there. That's what this channel is for. I want to share this knowledge for people so that they can have a sense of security, feel more comfortable getting out and doing these amazing things, because you never get to experience really awesome stuff if you never step out of your comfort zone. And that's what I mean by sacrificing comfort for freedom. Sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable to do things you've never done before. Hack number 3, wool clothing. It costs quite a bit of money to drive all around the country and keep everything on you that you own because it's heavy and it costs gas. And every little thing you can do to reduce weight will save you gas mileage, and it'll also save you space. Now, the reason why I say wool clothing is because not only is it lightweight, but it doesn't stink. It's quick drying, and it is very space saving. So I use them backpacking. I almost exclusively wear merino wool, other than some of my other layers like this jacket and stuff like that. But I highly recommend reducing your cotton, your denim, everything like that into wool and synthetic wool-like fiber. Polyester can be a great alternative, but it does smell after you wear it a few times. And when you're living outside and you're doing a lot of camping and stuff like that, you don't want to stink. And so, you know, sometimes it's not as easy to take a shower. Granted, there are Planet Fitness memberships and things like that, and I do use those. But it just helps to have clothing that doesn't hold odors, and that's why I can't recommend merino wool enough. One hack that I really enjoy is vinegar. I use vinegar to clean my dishes because obviously it's biodegradable, it's edible. I don't need running water to wash everything. So I just spray it down real good. And then usually I will rinse it off into my garbage bag. So see, there's some seeds and stuff on here. So I'm not just gonna scrape that onto the ground. I'm going to scrape it into my garbage bag, but I'll spray down the cutting board here, let that soak for a bit. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll scrub it off with a brush and then wipe it down with a paper towel and throw it into the garbage. So nice little hack, kills most of the bacteria. I've been doing it for 4 years. I've never gotten sick, so we'll knock on wood when we find some. But as for now, this thing is really great. I hope that you found this video informative. If you see anything in here that you have questions on or want to call me out for poor practices, please do. I consider feedback to be a gift. Make sure that if this is ever something that you want to consider doing, that you're in the best of hands to teach you how. So that being said, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next side quest. 3 hacks and tips making your it's much easier and safer, and even save you a boatload of money in the game-changing hacks and tips to make your small vehicle dwelling decided to keep things how they usually are so that you live versus what some influencers will believe.